All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep, deep into some really cool, fun facts.
Fun facts.
And all thanks to BBC Science Focus magazine.
Oh,
I've
nice.
talked about those kind of facts that make you go like, wait a second,
Yeah,
what?
that can't be right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So did you know, for example,
Mm-hmm.
that wearing a tie could actually, make your brain a little slower?
Really?
Yeah, so apparently some research suggests that ties can reduce blood flow
Oh,
to the brain by 7.5%.
wow.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it could potentially have real implications. So think about it. Reduced blood flow can lead to uh, dizziness, nausea, headaches. And if you're in a high stakes meeting
Oh, yeah.
or you're making big decisions,
You don't want to wear a tie?
you might not want to wear that tie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of making me rethink some wardrobe choices.
Yeah.
But let's move on to a fact that sort of make your head spin. Literally, have you ever heard of hippopotamonstrosequipedaliophobia?
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
You know what's ironic about that?
What?
It's the fear of long words.
Oh, the irony. That's pretty funny.
The word itself is a bit of a monster.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
I don't even want to try it once.
No, I don't either.
But where on earth did this ridiculously long word even come from?
It's got to be from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually dates back to the Roman poet Horace, who used it to, playfully criticize writers who just, loved using overly verbose
They
language.
just couldn't help themselves.
Yeah, but the modern usage of it as a term for a phobia, like an actual phobia,
Right.
is attributed to the American poet Amy Nezhukumatathil.
Oh, wow.
So she may have had a personal aversion to lengthy words, considering her own name.
Yeah, you think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough tongue twisters for one day.
Please.
Let's talk about something a little more heartwarming. Long lifespans.
Okay.
Specifically, the world's oldest dog and cat.
Okay, so most dogs live for about 10 to 15 years.
Right.
But there was an Australian cattle dog named Bluey
Bluey.
who lived to an incredible 29 and a half years old.
Whoa, that's almost twice the average lifespan.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And if you think that's impressive, how about Puff,
Cream puffs.
the world's oldest cat who lived for a mind-blowing 38 years and 3 days?
That's older than some people I know.
I know, right?
What's the secret to their longevity?
I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no single answer. Genetics, diet, environment, and even personality can all play a role in a pet's lifespan.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for this next one?
Hit me.
Did you know that the sun makes a sound?
The sun makes a sound.
The sun makes a sound.
How is that possible? We can't hear it.
Well, it's true we can't hear it, but it does make a sound.
Okay.
It exists as pressure waves.
Okay.
But the wavelengths are so massive.
Uh-huh.
They're hundreds of miles long.
Wow.
That they're completely outside the range of human hearing.
It's like a cosmic symphony that we're just not tuned into.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Now let's talk about mountains.
Okay.
We all know Mount Everest is considered the tallest, right?
Yeah.
But what if I told you that's not entirely accurate?
Wait, what?
Is there a mountain hiding somewhere that's taller than Everest?
Ooh, intrigue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on how you measure it.
Okay.
If you measure from the base on the ocean floor to the peak,
Mm-hmm.
then Mauna Kea and
Oh.
Mauna Loa in Hawaii take the title.
What?
Yeah.
So they're like underwater mountains.
Essentially, yes.
Wow.
Huge portion of their height is submerged.
Okay.
They actually reach a staggering 10.2 kilometers from base to peak,
10.2.
compared to Everest's 8.8 kilometers.
So they're significantly bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, are you ready to have your mind blown again?
I think so.
Our solar system has a wall.
A wall.
A wall.
Like an actual wall.
Not a physical wall,
Okay.
but a boundary known as the heliopause.
Heliopause.
What is that?
It's the region where the solar wind, that stream of charged particles flowing in the sun,
Mm.
loses its strength against the interstellar wind.
Oh,
The
okay.
particles from other stars.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the edge of our solar system's bubble.
Yeah, like a shield almost.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's interesting.
It's a fascinating area of study because it helps us understand the limits of our solar system's influence.
I could see that.
All right, time for a little myth busting.
Okay, go for it.
I'm sure you've heard people say that octopuses have tentacles.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, octopuses actually have arms, not tentacles.
Arms? Hold on, what's the difference?
It's all in the suckers.
Okay.
Tentacles only have suckers at their tips.
Okay.
Whereas arms have suckers along their entire length.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I
Never-
never knew that. Octopuses use their arms for all sorts of things.
Oh, yeah. from hunting, gathering, to manipulating objects, even moving around.
Wow.
Okay, this next fact is about to make you question everything you thought you knew about geography.
Okay, lay it on me.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Most maps of the world are wrong.
Wait a minute, what?
Wrong.
Our maps are wrong.
The ones that we use commonly.
How can that be?
Yeah, they rely on the Mercator projection, which was developed in the 16th century.
Okay.
And the problem is this projection distorts the size of land masses, especially near the poles.
Oh, wow.
So, those maps we see in classrooms, textbooks,
Yeah.
they're not really giving us an accurate picture of the world.
So they're just like for a general idea.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like, for example, on a Mercator projection, Greenland appears massive,
Yeah.
almost as big as Africa.
Right.
But in reality, it's much smaller.
So how would you create a truly accurate map?
It'd have to be spherical, like a globe.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way to represent the Earth's true proportions.
That makes sense.
Yeah, mind-boggling, isn't it?
It is.
All right, we got one last fact for you.
Okay.
This one's a real doozy. So prepare for a little conspiracy theory-esque twist.
Oh, boy.
NASA actually faked part of the moon landing.
What?
Yeah.
They faked the moon landing?
Now, before you jump to conclusions,
Okay.
the actual moon landing itself was not faked.
Okay.
What was staged was the astronaut quarantine upon their return to Earth.
The quarantine.
The quarantine.
They faked the quarantine.
They faked the quarantine.
Why would they do that?
Well, there's a few possible explanations. Some believe it was for publicity,
Oh.
to add to the drama, the excitement surrounding the mission.
Oh.
Others suggest it was a safety precaution just in case the astronauts had been exposed to some, unknown lunar pathogen.
Right.
So they basically put on a show for the public.
A show.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it does make you wonder about the role of perception and narrative in shaping our understanding of historical events.
It really does.
Yeah, so it really makes you think,
It does.
wow, it's amazing how, these simple, fun facts
Yeah.
can lead to all sorts of bigger questions.
I know. It's like that's the beauty of curiosity, right? It
Yeah.
takes you down these rabbit holes and you end up somewhere completely different.
Exactly.
Discovering things you never even thought to ask about.
Yeah, like who would have thought that, a tie could affect your brain power?
Right.
Or that the sun actually makes a sound.
Yeah. Wild.
Even though we can't hear it.
I know, right?
So it makes you realize how much we just take for granted
Totally.
and how much is still out there to discover.
And it really just reminds us that we should be critical thinkers, You
Right.
can't just take everything we see or hear at face value.
Especially in today's world.
Oh, tell me.
Like information overload
Yeah.
everywhere you look.
Yeah.
So take the maps, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that the Mercator projection distorts the size of land masses.
Right.
Why was that type of map even created in the first place?
Well, going back to the 1500s, it was really designed for navigation,
Okay,
sailors to plot courses using straight lines.
right.
That was crucial for long voyages. But the trade-off was, as I mentioned, the distortion,
Yeah.
especially closer to the poles.
Right, so it was useful for a specific purpose,
Yeah.
but not necessarily for representing, the world accurately.
Exactly. And that's something to keep in mind, whenever we're looking at information, right?
Yeah.
We should always be thinking about the source, the intended purpose, and,
Right.
are there any biases involved?
So going back to, that staged quarantine for the Apollo astronauts,
Yeah.
it seems like they were, really trying to, control the narrative.
Totally. Present a certain image.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so interesting because it raises all these questions about, how is history documented?
Right.
And how do those narratives influence our perceptions?
Yeah, it's making me think about, all those old newsreels documentaries.
Right?
We take them as facts, but maybe
Nah.
we should be watching them with, a more critical eye, knowing there might be more to the story.
Totally. You shouldn't just take anything at face value.
Yeah.
Be an informed consumer of information.
Yeah,
Always be questioning, looking at different perspectives.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to, challenge things.
exactly. And, that brings us back to these fun facts.
It does.
Each one, in its own way, encourages us to question, explore, and think outside the box.
I love that. It sparks our curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Reminds us that there's always something new to learn,
Always.
no matter how much we think we know.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about these, incredible facts and
Yeah.
delved into some deeper implications.
Mhm.
But, what's the takeaway for our listeners?
That's a good question.
How can they, apply this to their everyday lives?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is to just stay curious, right?
Right.
Don't just accept things.
Yeah.
Do your own research. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Be open to new perspectives.
It's like we were saying before, it's about being an active participant in the learning process.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to challenge your own assumptions,
Right.
Sometimes the most amazing discoveries come from questioning what we think we know.
So we talked about, those pets that lived super long lives.
Yeah, Bluey and Cream Puff.
Bluey, cream puff, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can learn from them that we can, like, apply to our own health,
That's a good question.
longevity?
Yeah, I mean, we can't like directly apply it, right?
Right.
But it does sort of highlight that it's complex.
Right.
Lots of things go into a long life.
Yeah.
Genetics, obviously, but also diet, environment, stress levels
Right.
all play a part.
So it's all about, like, finding that balance,
Yeah.
making those healthy choices,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe having a little bit of luck on your side.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's talk about that wall at the edge of our solar system.
Oh, yeah, the helios.
What's, like, the significance of it?
Right. So the heliopause is really where the sun's influence starts to like lessen
Oh, okay.
and interstellar space begins. So it
Okay.
kind of acts like a shield,
Okay.
protecting us from a lot of the harsh stuff out there.
Oh, okay.
Radiation, particles from deep space.
So it's like our solar system's own, like, little force field.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
And studying the heliopause can help us understand
Yeah.
how our solar system interacts with, the rest of the galaxy.
Exactly, which is crucial when we start thinking about future space missions
Oh, right.
going beyond the heliopause.
Like venturing further out,
Yeah, that'd be a journey.
that would be quite the journey.
And it's something that's being actively worked on.
Wow.
Who knows what we'll find out there?
I know. So I'm still just blown away by the fact that most of the maps we use are inaccurate.
I know, it's crazy.
It makes you think about how our perceptions are, like, shaped by those inaccuracies.
Yeah, the Mercator projection, for example.
Yeah.
It's useful for navigation, but
Yeah.
it distorts the relative sizes,
Right.
and that can have big cultural and political implications.
For example, it makes
Yeah, Europe and North America seem much bigger than
Yeah.
they are compared to, say, Africa or South America, and that can like subtly influence our views.
it's like we're looking at the world through a warped lens.
I like that, a warped lens.
Yeah.
It makes you realize, you really need to be seeking out different perspectives. Don't rely on just one source.
Right. All this talk about challenging assumptions, exploring different perspectives, it really resonates with me.
Yeah, me too.
It's something I, like, actively try to do.
Yeah, it's a great approach, I think, especially, like you said, today, when there's so much information out there,
Yeah.
easy to get stuck in echo chambers.
Oh, yeah.
Filter bubbles. It's important to, like, break out of that,
Right.
engage with different points of view.
And sometimes those different viewpoints
Oh, yeah.
lead to some pretty surprising revelations.
Absolutely. Remember that fact about neck teas?
Yeah, the neck teas.
Reducing blood
Who
flow.
would have thought?
I know.
Yeah.
It's a simple piece of clothing.
Right.
Such an impact.
Like, what other everyday things
Yeah, what else is out there?
could be affecting us?
Yeah, in ways we don't even realize.
A whole secret world.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's go back to the staged quarantine
Okay.
for the Apollo astronauts.
Yeah.
Why do you think they felt the need to, like, put on that show?
Right. And that's a question, that people are still debating.
Yeah.
Some believe it was like to manage public expectations,
Oh,
prevent panic
oh,
in case, who knows, right?
Right.
Maybe they brought back some weird moon stuff.
Moon germs.
Moon germs,
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about how like public perception of
Yeah.
the space program might have been totally different because of that.
Right. It just highlights, again, the power of narrative
Yeah.
and how it shapes our understanding.
Yeah.
So, what's the lesson here?
It's a good question.
Should we be skeptical of everything?
Well, I don't know about everything,
Right.
but we should definitely be discerning,
Right.
approach information, with curiosity,
Okay.
be critical,
Okay.
ask questions,
Right.
look at different perspectives. Don't be afraid to challenge things.
Like we've been saying, it's about being active in the learning process.
Exactly. The world is full of amazing things to learn.
Yeah.
We just got to go out there and explore it.
Be open
Yeah. And have fun.
and have fun.
Why not?
Exactly. Some of these fun facts are just so bizarre.
I know, right?
You gotta laugh.
You gotta laugh. Exactly.
Yeah.
Learning should be fun.
Yeah.
It makes those haha moments,
Yeah.
more memorable.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive
Oh, me.
into the world of fun facts.
That went by fast.
It did go by fast. I don't know about
Yeah.
you. I'm feeling pretty enlightened
Me too.
and entertained.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been great.
Exploring all these fun facts.
And a huge thanks to BBC Science Focus magazine
Yes, thank you.
for providing all this great information.
Really appreciate it.
They do a great job making science fun and
Accessible.
accessible. And of course, to our listeners,
Yeah, thanks for listening.
thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah,
Hopefully you learned something new,
I hope so.
challenged some assumptions, and maybe even had a good laugh.
A good laugh.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Stay curious.
Stay curious.
Keep exploring, and
But
remember,
worth that
knowledge is power,
is.
but fun facts are the fuel that keep us going.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Absolutely.